Hello, all you nerds and turds. It's me, it's Steve. Matt is back. Andy's here too. Look at us doing a thing together. It is the indieRift podcast. What's going on, gentlemen?
Not a whole lot. I'm mad at Andy because he hasn't seen Terrifier 3 yet.
I'm gonna see it.
Yeah, okay, sure. You had the chance yesterday and you didn't do it. And I'm mad at you now. I'm upset.
It's true. You had the chance. I will not see that.
One day.
I don't want to vomit on myself.
That's the vibe going into the show is I'm angry at Andy and I'm disappointed that Steve doesn't have the guts to watch those kind of movies.
And it's the vibe of this show is Steve doesn't want to throw up. So
yeah, right.
So we're gonna try and get through this thing without puking all over you. All right, audience. But we are going to puke awesome insights on indie gaming, news, reviews, and previews, all inside your ear holes through your earbuds or your eye holes on youtube.com/@indieRift. Of course, you can find this on any podcast service. So if you do want to listen, if you're watching on YouTube and you're like, I wish I could just listen to these guys on my commute, I'm riding the train, I'm riding the bus. I get a little nauseous while I'm looking at my phone, watching something. I just want to put something on, close my eyes, and listen to the dulcet tones of three neckbeards talking about video games. Well, guess what? You can do that.
That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for you, folks.
That's the vibe.
That's the vibe.
That is the vibe.
Yes, indeed. If you want to support us on Patreon, go to patreon.com/indieRift, just like Colton, the journeyman, Nestler. I'm going to tease something here, Andy. We are working on our first sponsor for indieRift. Coming soon. Yeah, coming very soon.
Wow.
So I'll give you guys a hint because you know what happened to me, but I'm going to tell the audience what happened to me.
Oh, that's
Steve
right.
decided that's me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Steve. Okay, my name is below. Steve decided that I was going to clean my CPU with a little air cannon guy, and it was going great. I was getting all like those little like tightly packed pieces of dust that you really can't get unless you really get in there. So I was getting them out, and I was like, you know what? CPU fan, let me tell you, I can't get in there. So I was like, let me take the fan off of the CPU. Which is fine. I've done it before, not to this specific rig, but I've done that before where you just take the fan off. It's no problem. You do have to reapply some thermal paste afterward, but whatever, no big deal.
Yeah.
So I pop the brackets, I pull the fan up. CPU comes out with the fan because the thermal paste has adhered it to the fan.
Yeah, of course. Yep.
Uh-oh. Now, this is a known problem with that specific cooler that I've learned later, and I'll tell you why I learned it later in a moment. So I clean it super clean. I can't get this processor back in my motherboard because I can't see the pins lining up. Like, you just can't see it. It's like the first thing you should be doing when you're building this PC. And I didn't realize.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead. Ask me what.
So when you realized that the CPU was adhered to the cooler, did you remove the CPU from the cooler?
So here's the thing. I didn't know that it was adhered to it. I thought it was part of it. Because I had not seen this PCB built. It was built for me and then brought to my house. So like, I didn't really put the pieces together in my brain that this wasn't just one solid piece that was like created for this computer. So no, I didn't do that because I didn't know that.
Yeah, because that's the problem.
Yes, that was inherently the problem. Anyway, I put the CPU back. I line it up with the brackets that pull the fan down. Everything was great until it wasn't. PC did not turn on. Pins hella bent. But the company that made my PC.
Did you put it in the wrong way? Is that
no? I put it in correctly. It's totally. It was. Listen. Paradox Customs, friend of the show, built this PC the first time, and within 2 days sent CJ, the second employee ever of Paradox Customs, from all the way out on Long Island to my house with a new processor. Well, first of all, with another version of my processor, updated my BIOS, put in an upgraded processor, an upgraded GPU, all within 1 hour.
Wow.
Had downloaded everything I needed as far as drivers and software and all the stuff, and completely cleaned out the PC. And I told them, you guys are going to sponsor the show. So that's what's gonna happen. So we're working out the details right now, but we're gonna have our first sponsor.
That's dope.
That was kind of like a sponsor right there. You just did.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
That
I'm
was
not
like-
gonna give you,
That was it.
we're not gonna have like a promo code or anything like that. But we're working on something. So it's gonna be cool.
I like that you told them that they're gonna sponsor the show.
Oh yeah, and they
Like,
were like,
you're
"Oh,
gonna sponsor the
totally,
show.
yeah, no, absolutely." So yeah, I was like, "You
Wait,
guys."
did they say it like that?
I mean,
Oh yeah, totally. Sure.
Yeah, totally.
Well,
yeah, all right.
we'll talk more about that off air because we got to get into the indie game adventures. Unless Andy, do you
do.
have something on indieRift? Because I know we skipped this because I didn't see this in here last week, but we did talk about Hollow Body and you did basically review it on the show. But you
Yes.
did a written review as well.
I did. Yeah.
That's it. You don't want
And,
to you don't want to tell anyone about it, or
Go read it. It's a great review.
Mm.
It's a great little horror game. One of the best ones of the year up until recently. But yeah, go to our site and check that out.
up until recently. All right.
Yeah.
Very
dude.
good. Yeah, Hollow Body review. It's always nice to see something going up on the website. I mean, just it warms the cockles of my heart. You know,
Mhm. Yeah, it's nice
it does. Feels
Beautiful.
good. Feels good
on the inside.
in my soul.
Mhm, mhm,
You know what bothers me, I think, more than anything when we're recording?
What's that?
When the little green bar lights up when I didn't cut it off quite enough when you're talking in Discord, and like it shows a little bit.
The
You know
little
how-
green bar.
You know how it like surrounds your picture? It has like the little green
Yeah.
when you're talking, the indicator light. Yeah, drives
Yeah,
me insane.
sure.
Hate it so much. But
I
sometimes,
kind of like.
but,
I kind of like
but
it.
Matt has 4,000
haven't even
feet above his
noticed that.
head. Well, because I'm constantly moving you guys around because when somebody leans to their right, they're out of their frame, and Andy's head is 4 times bigger than Matt and me, and like just because of the way
Yeah.
it's lined up.
Matt's got a little old beanhead today.
You're
Do you want me? I mean, do you want me to? I can change the angle of everything.
Matt's camera is on the ISS fucking space station. No, that was terrible. Please don't do
I'm
that.
sorry.
Matt's on the space station. Andy's eating his camera. So you know what, folks? Just listen to the podcast. You know what I mean? Just
No, watch it. It's
just
gonna be great. It's a shit
just
show.
download your
For
favorite.
moments like this, if anything.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get into the indie game adventures, and we're gonna start with Andy. You threw on here a game most of us should be familiar with, but I'd like to know, these remakes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Tell us all about it.
The great independent game.
The great independently
So,
developed game by Konami.
Yes, it is. Yeah, published.
Uh-huh.
Partially
Yeah.
funded.
That's yeah.
Um,
The small publishing arm Konami teaming up with well-known game remaker.
a small-time pachinko company decided to make an actual console game for
Yes.
a change. So
Yes.
yeah, I'll
Tell
take
us
it.
about it. Tell us what's
So
going on with Silent Hill.
I was going to do a haiku for this game, but I found a better way to kind of embody how I feel about this,
Okay.
and that is, this is a remake that is so good
Oh.
that it tells Matt to go fuck himself.
Oh, okay.
That's
wow.
how good of a remake. It's even in the credits. Like when you get to the end, it says,
Yeah.
"And Matt Murray, go fuck yourself."
What the fuck, man?
Wow.
How did
It
they?
is
Know,
a
how did they
game-
know?
Did they know? It is a game that this is the case why remakes should exist.
Interesting. Okay.
I hate it.
It surpasses the original Silent Hill 2. It's better than the OG. It's a 20-plus-year-old game, one of the best horror games ever made, seminal, iconic horror game. This just takes what the original had laid and builds on it in ways that shocked me. I was crying several times throughout this game. So Bloober and I, not the best relationship. Their games are kind of hit and miss for me.
Hmm.
I think I only liked one of their games, Observer. That's their like cyberpunk kind
Yeah.
of a horror game. Very Blade Runner-esque
They
kind
like
of a vibe.
remade their own game like 4 times to
They
like get it
did.
on
They did.
different consoles
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
Layers of Fear, their first game, pretty good.
Yeah,
Little,
Michelle has
fun
been playing that recently.
first-person
Actually,
horror game. Yeah.
she loves it.
Blair Witch, not so bad. For a licensed game. The Medium, not great. It's like a 6.5.
Yeah. Remember that.
Not a great horror game. So I had my reservations that could this team handle a remake of this scale, because Silent Hill 2 is, again, it's a deeply psychological horror game. There's so many elements and themes. There's like sexual violence in this game, and there's like, bullying and all these like really intense themes, and like, when your partner becomes sick and dying and dealing with that trauma. There's a lot of stuff in this
Mm.
game. Which when you think about it, for a small Japanese team that made this game 20 plus years ago, how they captured all these elements and themes in this horror game to this day still amazes me. So off the bat, it looks amazing. Like just walking in the town itself is, that gave me so much joy, because it's like it's a fully realized 4K foggy Silent Hill.
Mm.
Looks gorgeous, amazing. But then you get to the actual game, and it's really scary. And you see the changes that they've done between the OG and this one. Like, for example, no puzzle is the same from the original game.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I'll give you a really quick example. So in the OG game, there's a really simple puzzle. There's a grandfather clock in a room that's locked. You got to find the key to unlock it.
Sure.
And there's some writing on the wall. It says like Henry, Mildred, and Scott, and it kind of points a direction of like on the clock. The hour, the minute, and the second.
Mm-hmm.
You think, oh, it's HMS. So each name is one of the
Hour, minute, second.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so you figure it out. You go and you get the key, open the thing, you adjust the time, a little cutscene happens, boom, done, you finished. On to the next area. The remake has you hunting down each of the hands of the grandfather clock in these elaborate puzzle rooms. So you're going from one, you get the H hand, then the M hand, then the S hand, and it's all elaborate, drawn out, and it doesn't feel like padding. It feels like this fresh, awesome puzzle, and it's the entire game is like this.
That's awesome.
The boss fights, on the same note, in the original game were just bullet sponges. It was you in a small room with the boss unloading bullets until they died.
like just running around and trying to
any game,
almost like like a Metal Gear, almost like they have like their one gimmick that they do, and then you just run around and try and shoot them as many times as possible.
Correct. So there's a character in the game. Her name is Angela. Her main thing is spoiler alert for those who don't know, but again, it's a 20-year-old game, so maybe you should know by now, but whatever. Her whole thing is like her dad did bad things to her when throughout her childhood. She's like a 19-year-old girl, and one of her big things was there's a boss fight called Abstract Daddy in the OG game. It's like this thing that looks like a monster, like R-wording another person on a bed, but it's like really fleshy and gross.
Nope, don't like that.
So it's a very simple boss fight. It's just you and this thing in the room. You put bullets into it, and then you're done and you move on. The remake takes that foundation and builds on the sexual violence piece and this grotesque metaphor for Angela's father is chasing you through this massive maze of corridors, like Nemesis style, breaking through walls, trying to like get his arms around you to like fucking do things to you. I'm trying to be as PG as possible with my phrasing, by the way.
Yeah, no,
Um,
this is your lead.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's so intense, and Angela is like running in the background, saying things like, "Daddy, I'm so sorry. I'll be good." It's so terrifying, and it does it so well. And I was like literally tearing up during this whole um boss fight.
So
So that's a big change. Uh and again, touch on the characters. The voice acting in this game is fucking phenomenal.
so what you're saying is, as long as you have a shit ton of money behind you, you could turn anything into something that's actually
Dude,
pretty good.
this doesn't even seem like it's a big budget game. It feels like very double A in a lot of ways. But I will say that, as the kids say, that Bloober team cooked.
They cooked.
They-
Yeah.
They
I
cooked with
think
this
I
one.
think this is a good example of a worthwhile remake. I think that like 90% of remakes are dumb and should never happen.
You know
This
what's funny, Matt?
game is like a 20-plus-year-old game that
Mm.
a lot of people nowadays probably would have a hard time finding the hardware to play or just don't know where to seek that stuff out. And bringing it to an audience, a new audience, upgraded with different puzzles and different visuals and stuff like that, that is a great remake.
Yeah.
That is what we
It's-
need.
Yeah, it's kind of like game preservation in a lot of ways, like you were saying. But
Yeah.
it's funny how in the same week we got the strongest case for why remakes should exist. We also got one why they shouldn't, and that was the Until Dawn remake,
Yeah,
which is
Jesus
garbage.
Christ. Yeah.
I mean,
is
you
fucking
don't
garbage.
Yeah. I think we could do a whole show on what
could.
is a remake, what's not a remake, but like I think general rule of thumb should be N64, PS1 era and back, feel free to remake.
Yeah.
Anything, because PS3, PS4, and PS5, there's no fundamental difference to how you play any of those games and how those games are actually made. Like there were true limitations to the button input on the
Yep.
original PlayStation. Didn't even have analog sticks until 2 years into its development or until its life cycle. Like there were legit reasons to remake those games. Tank controls and like all that shit, like upgrading all of that, I'm all for it. And now we have, standards of gaming that is just it's far above what it well, not really what it was, because at the time that was the high standard, but like you can do good by properties by taking them from that era to this era and cleaning them up and remaking them. I think
Yeah.
there's really no point there's no difference to me playing, for example, Heavenly Sword on PS3. There's no difference if I was to plug that game into my PS3 or if you told me it was on PS5, I would not be able to tell you that it wasn't. In obviously there, games are going to look a certain way, but like it plays the exact same way as a game
Yeah.
that I know I would play today.
Yeah, I mean, I think that pretty much nails it on the head. Is like, is it worth pouring resources into remaking this game that fundamentally is not changed?
You could
Right.
re-release it.
You can re-release it, sure.
Sure.
Yeah, with like
Yeah, of
upscaling
course.
and
Yeah,
whatever.
4K Heavenly Sword. Like cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
But like a game that, like you were saying, has the limitations of a
Bygone
console. Yeah, like a console
Yeah.
generation that just, at its time was at the peak of technology and now seems as archaic as like a Atari seems to us. You know what I mean?
era. Right.
Like by
Right.
industry standards. That's the case for
Yeah.
sure. That's the remake.
They
case.
should remake ET
But,
from the Atari.
You should shut your mouth.
Again, this is like a 10 out of 10. This is like a 10 out of 10 for me. Again, like I was saying before, like the voice acting, they crush it. The James character, the main character, he's just so well done. And the sound design, all of it, they really did something special with this remake. And I hope that they just have them do the entire series at this point. There's 4 amazing games in the franchise. You got 1 down, 3 more to go. Just do it, Konami. Fucking do it, because they've proved themselves.
We'll
Bloober
see
with
how
this
it
game.
sells. That's going to determine everything. All right, we got to
It's
move along
selling
here.
really, really, really well. But yeah,
Yep.
We got to move along. That was 17 minutes on Silent Hill 2. So
Jesus Christ.
let's move along here, and we're going to get into.
My name's Andy. I over-explain everything.
Speaking of over-explaining,
you know when I get passionate, you know.
I know.
here's
Yeah.
our
No.
friend Matt
I
Murray.
I know.
With a game that he's just very excited to talk about. Megaloot.
Okay.
Give me the loot.
This game is not even remotely as complicated as what Andy just described. This is a old school type dungeon crawler. You're going through rooms, and it is almost an auto battler. Like it teeters on auto battler. You're hitting the attack button to attack. And so like its main mechanic isn't the battling. Like its main mechanic is this merging of different stuff that you're buying from a shop that's like ever present on your screen. So one half of your screen is split as the combat, and then the other half is split into your inventory and this little shop that you have down at the bottom. As you're going through this dungeon, the things are getting more powerful. You're just trying to make your numbers go up, right? It's like a very simple RPG. The complication comes from juggling upgrading the loot that you currently have, where you're doing it kind of like a very simple, recognizable merge style, where you're going like gray item, gray plus gray equals green, green plus green equals blue, and you're kind of like leveling it up that way. But on top of that, your character is only able to use each item has a set, so it'll be like wood or demonic or something like that, and you're only able to. Yeah, right? Yeah, that was a big jump.
I love the jump.
It was a big jump. But so you're only able to have equipped at any given time items up to 3 sets. And so as you're progressing through the dungeon and things are getting more difficult, you're also juggling upgrading your sets to newer, better sets that you find further in the dungeon without completely like ridding yourself of the earlier sets, because then all your stats go away. And so that's the basic premise. It's like a very simple loop of eat the stuff, purchase the stuff, upgrade your stuff, get set bonuses. Where the interesting thing comes in is there's like different characters that have built-in passive set bonuses. And so you have like magic users or melee users, and at the beginning of each run, each of these characters has like a mini skill tree that you can spec out into. Things like very simple things like extra damage, extra dodge, extra armor. But then there are also things like a magic user has a thing called insight, and so you can spec into extra insight, and that allows you to like recover a certain amount of mana based on how many hits you do to a certain row of characters. And it's just this like really great, well-designed loop that is just stupidly addicting. Like you're clicking away the attack button, you're like looking over at the shop, refreshing the shop. The last mechanic is every fight you're able to temporarily convert the shop, so you can hit this convert button that's on the battle screen, and the whole shop becomes free. But you're not wearing those items. You click them, they go away, and you temporarily gain all the bonuses associated with those items for just that fight. And so that's the other balancing act where, oh shit, do I want to buy that thing next round because I might have the gold? Or do I need it right now, like emergency use case, like break the glass for this fight, otherwise I'm going to die. And yeah, it is just this like very simple roguelike purchase loop game. I haven't been able to stop playing it. It also feels like it's perfect for like a mobile port. Like if they put this on my phone, I would play it on the toilet constantly, all the time.
Good toilet game.
This is yeah.
Great toilet game.
Great toilet game. Awesome. So that was Megaloot, and
yeah. Also, Steal of the Week. It's currently on sale for $7.99.
Sweet. There you go.
Only $8 dues. I'm going to talk a little bit about Summerhouse. There isn't too much to talk about here, but I wanted to give the game its flowers because it is very, very adorable. Summerhouse is made by a sole developer, is kind of like a passion project, and it's a mini town builder on 2D landscapes where you just get a bunch of pieces and you put the pieces together and you start to form these houses and buildings and whatever. There's really no goal other than just chilling and building something fun or something that you feel fits the scene. You could change, to be a sunny day at nighttime or rainy and, or whatever. And as you're piecing certain things together, you'll unlock like new pieces to play with, or like people will show up and like they'll, sit on the stoop or like look out the window. So cool. But it's all based on the developers, like when the developer would go on vacation and just see cool architecture and just see like how places live and how people live. And so he just wanted to make something that like was his memory of going on vacation and just looking at how other people live and all that stuff. So the only group of people that I can't recommend this game to is if you are severe OCD, because when shit doesn't fit right, it drives me insane, and I'm not severe OCD, so I can imagine somebody that's worse than me would not have a good time just based on like pieces not lining up perfectly, but they're not supposed to. It's supposed to be obtuse and esoteric with how you're putting the pieces together, and then you could put like a door here, and then it starts to look like a house, or it starts to look like a building and stuff like that. There are roof tiles, there's stairs, there's walls, there's trees, there's power lines. So if you want to make it look like it's more of an urban city or something like that, you could do that. There's signs for like a cafe or a store or something like that. So you could like make anything into anything, but when your expectation is this roof line should line up perfectly with this wall that I'm placing,
it doesn't always work out that way.
It doesn't work. It's very frustrating. But there's no fail state in the game, so it's really not the worst thing. You just kind of chill, and the purpose of the game is to just chill and make something. And
so are you like picking the scene, or it just like gives you a scene and you build on it?
There's 3 or 4 scenes. There's like a desert town, a lake town, a mountain town. There was one more. I think there was one more, but you just pick the landscape and you could build out other things in that landscape. Like I did the lake house as my first one, and I put the landscape itself you can't change. Like whatever's there is there, but you could change on you could like move the pieces you're placing a little bit further up in the foreground or back. So you could place them in front of the trees or rocks that exist there. But then you can place other trees and other rocks and other boulders and other like nature stuff.
You can like almost sculpt it, kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of like
it's like pseudo sculpting.
It's like a diorama.
You're like obscuring things.
Yeah, so like you can like put a tree a little bit further forward, and like you could pretend that that's like in the person's front yard, and you could put like a little notice board somewhere in there, so it's like, oh, maybe it's not a home, maybe it's like the town crier or something. Do people still have a town crier? I don't know. A postman. But yeah, it's a fun little chill. It's only a couple bucks, so support indie devs, support solo devs.
I like it.
All right.
Especially if you have high blood pressure and you just want to chill out for a minute. Know what I mean? All right, Matt, we're going to kick it back to you. You're the only one with a second game on the Indie Game Adventures, and we're going to talk a little bit about Crypt Custodian, which we have talked about before on the show, but I'm interested to see what you have to say about it this week. Crypt Custodian.
Yeah, so not lightly, I think this has a potential to be my indie game of the year. This game presents itself as a very like cutesy, whimsical, fun-loving kind of journey. And what it delivers in its gameplay is some of the most fun, kind of bullet helly, dodgy, puzzly combat that I've played this whole year. There are just bosses that will fill the screen with bullets and attacks, and it is a beautiful game. So like you look at it and it has that like whimsical, like I'm a fucking cat in the afterlife and I smashed some pots and now this lady has put me here in hell because I smashed her pots, and you're feeling it. Super super interesting world to explore. For those that don't know, it's like a kind of like a third like top down perspective metroidvania. The powers that you get throughout are very very interesting. Some of them are kind of standard, right? You get like a jump and a dash, but then there's one that lets you like dig underground, and I didn't even there's not like so when there's like a jump dash in a metroidvania, you're like, oh, like I can't make this jump right now. There's clearly something over there, so there's probably going to be a dash at some point. I didn't even recognize that there was going to be a power to dig under walls. And like one of the powers is like going into the ground and digging under walls. And for like until I got that, I'd get to stopping points where I'd be just like staring at a wall and I'd be like, how in the I've gone every fucking way I can possibly think of, and I have no fucking idea how to get around this goddamn wall.
Getting around it.
Yeah, you're going under it. And yeah, it's just it has like a charm that is very rare, I think, in
Ladies and gentlemen, if you hear the sirens, they are on our end. They're on our end. So
it just has a charm that I think is really missing sometimes from the current gaming sphere. There's a lot of games, so like the one you just described sounds like it has a lot of charm, but it's a very passive game. And I think that we've floated into this area where things need to be like weird and gritty and souls-like and grim, and we've lost this like whimsical nature that some games used to have, and this perfectly encapsulates that whole idea while also providing gameplay for somebody who loves challenging gameplay. The story is also cool. You've been banished to the afterlife for unavoidably destroying pots of the person who decides whether you go to hell or heaven as a cat who has just died. And throughout your adventure, you'll meet kind of other banished pets who have been banished to clean. That's what you're banished to do.
Unjustly banished. Like
to clean.
They all feel they're unjustly banished. Like, oh,
yeah.
I was a good cat, but I knocked over this
pot, and now I have to clean the fucking afterlife forever. And so you meet like this awesome cast of characters that are all in very different styled areas. I think that's the other thing that really caught me is like none of the areas in this game feel like a traditional like, oh, this is the ice area, this is the snow area, this is the water area. They're all like super interesting. Like one is a like broken down amusement park, and you like walk through it initially and none of the rides are working, and you end up getting to a point where one of the people you end up meeting up with that you kind of band together with is like, hey, I can't fucking get this thing to work, but I'm pretty sure it turns the power on in the park, and that would be fucking cool. And so then you just like go over and you like Fonzie hit it and it fucking turns everything on. And when you walk back through, it's like a hellscape of fucking crazy rides that are going insane, and you're like jumping across a whole new, like you've transformed
like
the
no
entire
wonder
path.
This was off.
Yeah, and then the boss fight of that area is super cool. You're on like a forever roller coaster that is just fucking going like 70 miles an hour while this thing attacks you. It's awesome. So yeah, if you like Metroidvanias, if you like Zelda style, like old school Zelda style top down games, if you enjoy like challenging combat and really fun exploration. This is a must play, in my opinion. You have to pick this game up. It is absolutely incredible. And like I said, it is on my short list of game of the year for indies.
Awesome. All right, folks, that's what we've been playing. Those are games that are out right now that you can enjoy. And that's what the indie game adventures are all about. So if there's a game that you are enjoying right now that you think we will enjoy, leave it in the comments. Maybe we can check them out and talk about them on next week's show. But before we get into the demos of the games that we've been playing, we want to sneak in some news because we got a bunch of news this week. A lot of things we could talk about here. We'll try not to dive too deeply unless it's warranted here. But I wanted to start, Andy, with and I think you put this on here on the third on the list here. Alien Isolation 2 has been announced.
Yeah, baby.
Big time.
This came out of nowhere, guys.
I wonder what prompted it.
I don't know. This has been like a pipe dream for a long time because the first game, while it was well received, didn't sell well at all for Sega. And the team did other things after the fact. So it was all right. You made a really great Alien game. I think it's the best Alien game ever created, aside from like the arcade games, the original like AVP game on PC. Got this, fun little alien horror game that kind of came and went, and now we have the statement from the team that's been 10 years since the game came out. So on the anniversary, it's like it's been fitting to let you know that we've heard your distress calls loud and clear. Today, I'm delighted to confirm on behalf of the team that a sequel, Alien Isolation, is in early development, which likely means PS5, next Xbox generation, it seems, maybe, or a cross-gen game. We look forward to sharing more details with you when you're ready. Fuck yes. Again, one of the greatest Alien games ever made, an amazing horror game. It's you on the ship with a single alien that you cannot kill that's stalking you throughout the entire game. Amazing setup, very hide and seek kind of gameplay.
Yeah.
So more of this, please. I'm very excited how they evolve the formula for the next game.
Yeah, the tension in this game is like unmatched, dude. Like just I played Amnesia a little bit before I played this, so those two games are very similar, but
Correct.
the tension, Amnesia, those games are pretty fun. They're a little abstract. This game, just because of its recognizability, and then like just I guess it's like an anti-power fantasy of like escaping a xenomorph. You know what I mean? Like who hasn't
victim fantasy?
Yeah, it's like
very
weird.
much like the first Alien movie.
Like, that's what I mean. It's like living through that
place where you're very vulnerable. You cannot kill this thing for the life of you. You just have to escape and evade and outsmart it, essentially.
Yeah. Again, sirens are on our end. I don't know. Do you guys know why I say that, by the way? It was an ingenious thing that I heard on a podcast. It was kind of funny. And I think Greg Miller did that even before he started Kind of Funny. But when he was recording, no, it had to be Kind of Funny. Oh, no, it was IGN. Because whatever. There were sirens. And then they got written into from somebody saying like, hey, I was driving and I was like convinced I was being like, I pulled over thinking somebody with a siren or whatever. So that is why we like to let you know. If you do hear it, it is on my end here. I'm
surprised there's none on my end because I just got a citizen alert for report of woman threatening with scissors 500 feet away from me.
Oh, okay. Dang women with scissors. So yeah, indieRift, again, all about indie games, and that indie studio, the indie publisher Sega, will be putting out Alien Isolation 2.
An asshole today.
So good stuff. Good stuff. Now, an actual indie game, Little Nightmares, former guest of the show. Of the Dual Screens podcast, which is now Dev Dive, a conversational podcast. Little Nightmares is getting a horror comic book next year, which is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, this comes from IGN. 2025. This is Jesse Shadeen wrote this one, so go give this article a click if you will. 2025 is shaping up to be a great year for Little Nightmares franchise. Not only is the unique horror adventure series returning for a third game, thanks to developer Supermassive Games, it's also getting a comic book spin-off. IGN can exclusively reveal the first details about Little Nightmares Descent to Nowhere, a collaboration between Titan Comics and Bandai Namco Entertainment Europe. First, check out the cover art. Yeah, and they show you the cover art. And yeah. Little Nightmares, a severely underrated horror adventure franchise, in my opinion.
I like to call it sloppy creepy.
Okay, expound.
I like that. I like that.
It's just like very everything's dirty and weird looking, and like the way things move is very
very
sloppy.
Unsettling.
Greasy. There's like a layer of grease.
Greasy
like
is a good way to yeah. I'm not saying like I'm not saying that it's put together sloppily or developed sloppily.
Yeah.
It just has sloppy vibes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Which makes it so much more creepy.
Yeah. I also want to take this moment to remind people that comic books aren't just a vehicle for superheroes, and that horror comic books are fucking great because you get some artists who can draw some crazy shit that you won't see anywhere else. And it's worthwhile to dig into things like this. And I probably when this comes out, I'll pick it up just to check it out.
And now some good news. Two stories that kind of go hand in hand here. The first one, another spin-off studio from former Disco Elysium developers is out. And this is the 5th to be announced. But the interesting story here is that
that's so crazy.
This studio, which is going to be called Summer Eternal, is founded by Argo Tulik, who was involved in co-creating Disco Elysium's world building way back when it was a TTRPG. So this is like a person whose hands are in it. So another studio, but this studio is not going for the Disco Elysium spiritual successor like 2 of the other 4 are doing. And that was kind of what drew me to this announcement, was that this developer was kind of put off by the fact that other spin-offs are trying to do Disco Elysium just on their own kind of thing without like the heart and soul. I guess he believes it's kind of like without the heart and soul. Let me find the quote here. I did see the quote. Where is it? I should have.
It's been 5 years.
Yeah, man. So the Disco Elysium,
that's wild.
The Disco Elysium saga. This game came out, and again, this is a game that I want to play, but ever since like the shit show happened, I kind of have been put off by it. Like I just don't want to support the people who are now profiting off of it.
Yeah.
So if you don't know that whole saga, we're not going to get into it here, but like you could pretty much find everything.
I think we've talked about it too on
we've talked about it a couple of years ago, when everything was going down. But yeah, like Disco Elysium is one of the best CRPGs pretty much ever made. We'll go down into the team here for this. Tulik told IGN he's starting a revolutionary new RPG studio. He's gotten a number of key Disco Elysium developers to join his cause. Here is the makeup of the studio as it stands today. This was yesterday, actually, of recording. So there's Argo Tulik and Olga Moskvina. They're among the 5 writers of Disco Elysium, so they're 2 of the 5 writers, which, in my opinion, is probably the most important pieces of Disco Elysium you could have, because the writing in that game, everything I've seen of that game is incredible. Lenville Brown, a voice actor known for voice work. Dora Klinzik, I think that's how you say that, principal writer in Zaum, Z-A-U-M. I don't know how to say that studio. I apologize. Anastasia Ivanova, senior concept artist. Michael Oswell, who graphic designer, and Alexander Gavrovic, managing director of the game developer Game Chuck. So the team is coming together rather nicely.
Oh,
We're back.
is he back? Is he back?
We're back. So
We're
that
down-
was
we're
fine
down at-
because
we're
hold
down
on,
at-
shut up.
Okay.
I was just reading, so it's totally fine. I was just reading parts of the article.
You know what I forgot because I started going through it is that you're recording and we're not.
Correct.
Exactly.
Correct.
Yep.
So I just went over.
So
the
I
team
just
members.
read off all the names like
Yeah.
you weren't here, like I was
Yeah.
continuing the show.
Yeah.
But what actually was happening was that
I
you
was.
cut out for us,
Yes.
and you were doing it because
Yeah.
you have the one
Because I'm
with
the
the
recorder.
computer that's yeah.
Because he's the guy.
Yeah.
He's
So
doing the
unless
recording.
you are also recording,
I'm not. Yeah.
moot point. Anyway, so always good.
I'm
I mean,
not.
at least something good is coming out of this Disco Elysium kerfuffle, that we're getting more studios from very talented people, and we're going to get more awesome RPGs, which is what life is all about, in my opinion. RPGs.
Mhm.
Another bad situation that has some good stuff coming out of it is
this one's so weird.
yeah,
Yeah,
Humble
man.
Games staff. So Humble Games, like the
Former
publisher,
Humble Games staff. Yeah.
yeah, like just decided, no, we're done. We're not doing this anymore. And it was like, wait, what do you mean you're not doing this? Like, our game depends on you publishing us. And they're like, nah, we're not. And it's like, oh shit. Okay. Well, now former Humble Games staff form new publisher that will work with their old company.
So
Excuse me.
bizarre.
The Good Games Group.
Yeah.
Very
yeah.
very
uh,
presumptive.
name.
Very presumptive of them.
yeah,
Mhm.
we're good games.
I didn't say great. Is it good?
That's fair.
Yeah. Good
Alright,
is
good.
where you want to be. You know, if
Yeah,
you're
that's fair.
great, then you get too many eyes on you, and then they're all like, what are you making next?
Yeah, that's
you know
true.
what I mean? Like, just be good. Like, if I was to make a game company, I would call it It's Fine Games.
Sounds like
fine.
great advice for your
It's
children.
fine.
Hey,
Yeah.
listen, don't aspire to be anything.
Yeah.
Just be. It's
Just-
cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When there's low expectations, you could blow them out of the water. You know what I mean?
Lowered
Two
expectations.
former leaders. This is an Engadget article, so please go give Anna Washenko a click, contributing reporter to Engadget. Two former leaders from the video game publisher Humble Games, Alan Patmore and Mark Nash, have launched a new outfit called Good Games Group. And ironically, the first deal this indie publisher has landed is with its team's old parent company. According to the statement from Good Games Group, the business will work with Humble Games to provide support for previously released titles. Good Games Group's mission is to bring exceptional indie games to the global gaming community, the CEO Alan Patmore said. Partnering with Ziff Davis allows us to continue working with the amazing indie developers we collaborated with at Humble Games, while also allowing us to chart a new course for the future.
Ziff Davis is such a great name.
Ziff Davis
Dude.
owns a lot.
Does he?
IGN, not he, it's a company.
Yeah. yeah.
IGN, Eurogamer. Like,
Oh, Ziff Davis is a company.
yeah,
It's just such a good name.
it's a good
I wish I
Ziff.
named one of my kids
Very
Ziff
powerful name.
Davis
You want
Murray.
just Ziff?
Yeah.
No, Ziff Davis. Yeah, it's the whole package.
Yeah, you
I
gotta
don't
do
know.
the whole
I
thing.
think I like Ziff. I think Ziff.
No, you
is-
can't. You got to do Ziff Davis.
Yeah.
It's
just
a
rolls off the tongue.
it's a powerful combo. You know,
Ah,
Yeah.
it's a good face.
You know what
Brady
this
just
Can't just
reminds
be
me
like
of?
yo Ziff. What?
Remember that? What was that Toys for Bob when they split
Yeah.
from Microsoft?
Uh-huh.
And then they were like, "Hey, our first game is going to be published by Microsoft."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what? Why'd you split?
Hey, I know you guys
Why
just
you do
literally.
that thing?
I know you guys literally just laid us all off for little to no reason. But do you want to work together again?
Listen, we want to make money, but we don't want to pay you so that we can make money. So why
Get
don't
outta
you
here.
You want-
leave,
None of
build
the
the
risk,
thing
all the
yourself,
reward.
and then come back, and then we'll put it on our thing. How about that?
There you go.
All right, I played a couple of demos, so let's get into Demo Derby. You guys don't have any demos on here. I do. which is totally cool. The first one here is such a me game, it's ridiculous. And let me tell you, they're doing a good thing over here at Diceomancer. Diceomancer, roguelike deck building game, but it's in a first person, like old school dungeon crawler perspective. This game, the demo is short. Well, I shouldn't say that. I played the prologue first, and then I was like, oh, this is great, and I threw it on the list. So I still have to play the demo proper. I did just the prologue for now, but they're doing really cool things with dice. So a roguelike deck builder, you know what you're doing. You're unlocking cards, you use the cards to like attack or block or, do magic spells or whatever. But then there's this dice mechanic where the cards, you can use these cards to change numerical values of things on the screen, including cards. So
Oh shit.
you could change your health, your opponent's health, whatever, right? So some cards will be a D6 card. So when you have a D6 card, you're going to want to use that. Like, for example, one of the bosses I was fighting had like 250 health. And you're never going to do, like, he's going to kill you in 2 turns when he's got 250 health. So you use this dice card, and it's a D6, you play it, and you can choose his health maximum, or his current health, or the attack on your cards, or whatever. So I changed his health to like 4 hit points because I rolled a 4. So it went from 250 to just 4 because I used that card. So it's like and as you go deeper into the game, you'll unlock cards that are like a D20 or a D8 or like whatever. So like all these permutations of dice cards will be able to do more as you're building out your deck and your character. Just a really cool concept. I look forward to
super cool.
Yeah,
I also love
really
I love
cute.
like I love the late 80s, like early 90s fantasy animation.
Yeah.
Like it kind of has like the Hobbit-ish.
Yes, it's
vibes.
got like
yeah.
it's got like that 80s cartoon like Herculoids,
That's a deep
demastered.
cut.
Yeah.
Fucking Herculoids.
Yeah, love the Herculoids.
Holy shit.
Looks like it's all hand drawn. So I played the demo of this. This game is out. It came out a couple of days ago. So I am going to dive into the good. And,
The full game.
Good.
Yeah. This is why we play the demos, to see if a game is something we would like and something that we can recommend to others, right? This is a game I will be downloading, and I will be diving much deeper into it for next week's show, but I wanted to put that on there in case this is somebody else's jam. Unfortunately, the next game that I played a demo of, which is a game that came out a couple of weeks ago, is Monomyth.
Unfortunately, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a sucker for like first person adventure games, RPG adventure games, but this is a very janky generic RPG. It's like if you took the combat of Skyrim and none of the intrigue of the world of Elder Scrolls.
Sure.
And
Okay.
It's a generic fantasy setting.
It's just that you're in a cave and you're swiping with your sword and you're trying to like, I don't know, solve the room kind of, and then it just doesn't do it for me. It feels very, and I hate to use this word because I don't know who made this. I don't know what went into this, but it feels very amateur. It feels like a mod of something, and it was like, this is my first thing, let me put it out. It is in early access, which I forgot about. I forgot that it was an early access title, so it is possible that this thing could get some polish and whatnot, but Um,
It is a solo dev too, Steve. Let's also
yeah, I mean,
consider that
well,
also.
and it feels like a solo dev taking a mod kit, or Skyrim mod and like making their own game out of it.
Making his own thing, yeah.
It I didn't like the textures were very muddy and it felt very depressing to play and very very slow. And I just upgraded my GPU to a 4060 Ti new processor, and this game was screen tearing everywhere.
I mean, I'm
Oh,
sure it is
man.
not particularly well optimized right now,
No,
dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
Early, I mean, it was jarring. Like sometimes I was like, oh God, okay. Like it would screen tear and like flicker and stuff. So it's got some time to go. I can't recommend it in its current
Yeah.
state right now in early access, but that's kind of the crux of early access, right? It's like
Yeah.
you need to
Mhm.
sell this thing so that you could
I
pour
mean,
more resources into it, but
like looking at it, it doesn't look half bad, but it's not doing anything new, really.
Yeah.
yeah.
For the genre. It's like I get it, what you're trying to accomplish, but
Well, when you look at it, it looks like somebody's playing Skyrim.
Or
right.
or Morrowind, but only in the dungeon version. The
Yeah,
dungeon
yeah.
Morrowind.
All right, well, best of luck to Rat Tower
Yeah,
developer.
just
Maybe
keep
we'll get him
at
on,
it
we'll get him on
because
the show.
the passion, you could see the passion's there.
Mhm.
It's just like you said, it's not doing anything new and it's not doing anything particularly well. But I digress. Wishlist roundup as we are heading towards the end of our show here. Did you know that the Greece developer has a
Oh,
new game?
it's out like
I-
next week.
It's out in 3 days.
I
And
feel like I
I-
saw this over the summer and was like, "Holy
Oh my
shit, this
forgot
game
about
looks
it
amazing."
because I
Yeah.
forgot about it, but
Yeah.
we
There's
must
like
have
a
talked
wolf
about
deer
this.
thing. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
But of course, we're talking
I'm
about
loving
Nomada
this.
Studio and Devolver Digital Neva. Yeah, like
They are never going to be on the show because they turned me down like 5 times.
yeah. Well, it is what it is. Grease is
Maybe
a
this time.
beloved indie game from a couple of years ago, and this game looks gorgeous.
Yeah, it really does.
Oh.
They have such a style.
Oh,
and
look at the visual of this.
It's just
oh my
it's so
God.
gorgeous, dude. It's unbelievable.
Inky.
Yeah,
And if you
inky is a
haven't
good way
played
to put
Grist
it.
yet, it's actually on PS Plus, I believe, for this month. So
Mm.
please check that out if you have that access and enjoy
Totes.
that amazing game. But I want it.
Totes me goats. Experience the moving tale of a young woman and her lifelong bond with a magnificent wolf as they embark on a thrilling adventure through a rapidly dying world.
Yeah, this game looks dope.
That's what Neva is all about. Next on here is Shadows of Chroma Tower. And Matt, you put this on here, and this looks dope as hell.
Yeah, I caught this on Twitter, and just like the little gameplay GIF that they showed, I was like, "Holy shit, this looks amazing!" So this is a multiplayer. I think you can play solo too, but it is a multiplayer dungeon crawler, like loot craft fight kind of game, and the style looks awesome, the art looks dope, and it just looks like it's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It could be. Oh yeah, look at that. Look
There's
at
a
the
playtest
horde.
going on right now, actually.
Yeah, dope. Yeah, it looks really cool. It looks like another one of those Skyrim types, but like with a Borderlands filter.
But good.
Well,
I'm sorry.
you
That
never
was mean.
know.
That was really mean.
But
How about heavy
Mhm.
metal horror? How about that? The Axis Unseen. Have you seen this one?
Ooh.
Yeah, I put this on here. This
This
game
is
looks
one of the
dope.
developers of Skyrim. So now we're really completing the package here, folks.
This game looks so fucking cool, dude. Just like go around. It's like a bunch of you're supposed to be hunting down animals and creatures from folklore, and it just looks beautiful. Like it's supposed to be a big open world that you're meant to explore. Former Skyrim dev is solo deving it, and it just looks fucking
Not
cool.
just Skyrim, but also worked on Starfield.
Yeah, he's like a former Bethesda.
But my
employee.
favorite thing that they put on here was that he was also one of the people responsible for making that game from Grandma's Boy.
Yeah, Grandma's Boy. Yeah.
That's great.
Also, that game.
Yeah. Yeah. Explore a vast open world. So yeah, no, this is gonna be on my wish list for sure because that game looks dope.
Yeah.
I think we spoke about this game before, but it popped up on my coming soon page for some reason. I think Andy is frozen.
That's okay.
Hopefully he returns to us soon and isn't saying anything that is
Oh.
important. Oh, we heard him a
Thought I
little
heard
bit
him
there,
for a
folks.
second.
Just bear with us while Andy's internet catches up to him. The internet, it turns out
Oh,
he's gone.
oh,
He is gone, ladies and
oh,
gentlemen.
he's back.
That's not Andy.
Kinda.
Asakis.
That's Pants Guy.
Okay. We are
Okay.
we're waiting for Andy to come back, but now I don't have Matt in there he is. Here we go. He's coming back. He's coming
Now we're
back
back in frame. Now I'm back in frame.
You're back in frame. Sorry about that, folks.
Hey, Andy. No,
No, Andy's still not connected. He's not
I heard-
connected, folks.
I heard creepy giggles.
I heard a giggle as well. But speaking of giggles, while we do this, let's talk about Mouse PI for hire.
I know I'm going to be playing the shit out of this game.
Yeah, this game looks so much fun. Yeah, this is what happens when the Mickey Mouse or the Steamboat Willie IP goes
Public.
and now people are making this. PI Pepper, prepare for the big time interactive extravaganza. Yeah, this game just looks ridiculous.
Yeah, looks super fun. Obviously very
gory.
cool art style and kind of gory. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh,
So yeah, go check that out. Check that one out. Put that one on there, and that's Mouse PI for hire.
yeah.
So look it up, put it on your wish list. Andy's gone again.
Yep. He's I'm split
Oh,
now. Oh,
Here we go. Andy's
now he's
back.
kind of back. Maybe.
Yeah. We don't know what's going on with Andreas Asimakis.
We're just gonna talk through it. It's fine.
We're gonna get through it as best we can.
Okay.
Okay, so we're just gonna all right.
Okay.
We're gonna do it.
We're doing it.
So you're now gonna be Andy Asimakis
Oh
on
shit.
on your nameplate.
Nope.
Because of reasons. Actually, you know what I could do? I can move. This is live podcasting, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
buddy.
This is what it's all about.
me
this is-
having the only solid
is why
connection
we-
here.
This is why we do things. Here we go. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna paste that.
You know you're gonna do all this and then he's gonna pop back in, right?
Sure, but I could just
Okay.
change the scene then. That's no
Okay. All
problem.
right. All right.
But
Yeah,
now,
okay.
now you're appropriately Matt Murray. So
Sick. Sweet. All right.
there you go. The next one on this list is the Terrifier, the arcade game.
I can't wait for this game to
How
show
exciting!
up. It's gonna be so good. It's like a beat 'em up, like old school style beat 'em up. There's different characters you can select to play as. Multiplayer. It just looks very fun, and I love
Ah.
these movies, and I can't wait to play this game.
Oh Jesus, he's coming back.
One of the characters is Chris Jericho as an orderly.
An orderly.
Yeah.
Love that. I don't know anything about Terrifier except that it's really bloody and gory. That's what.
Yeah, it's there's a whole thing. It's Art the Clown is like a maniacal serial killer. There's a whole story behind him. And yeah, it's just this seems like a worthwhile entry into the pantheon of what will eventually historically be like the Terrifier franchise. So it looks awesome and I can't wait to play it.
Side scrolly beat 'em up.
Yep.
The video game.
That's correct.
I want to wait to see if we can get Andy back for this the next one on the list. So I want to go. We'll go now to. I guess we could go to our Kickstarter.
Our Chickstarter.
Yeah, go to our Kickstarter of the week. While Andy's internet is dead and broken. Maple Forest.
This looks really fun. I found this right before the show. I don't know, like has like the Game Boy quality to it, but it looks like there's like a cool lighting engine that exists in it, and it's like retro modernism.
Yeah,
Um,
I've supported a few of these on Kickstarter before. I have an actual Game Boy cart of a game that I've backed somewhere.
Yeah. So this looks really cool. It looks like a Zelda-esque game, and
Yeah.
it looks like it could be a lot of fun.
Yep. So if you're into those retro style Game Boy video games, go check it out. There's no reason. Oops, wrong button. There's no reason. You don't have to throw $1 million. It's got 17 days to go, and it has already hit its goal. It's approaching hitting 3 times its goal.
Yeah, which
So
is
that's
fucking
pretty
great.
awesome.
Yeah, pretty cool.
All right. Well, it looks like we're not going to have Andy for this this portion, but I did want to talk because this game, it looks heavily Andy.
It does look very Andy.
It's called Cult of Blood. It looks like one of those PS1.5, PS2 sort of survival games here. Dodging bad guys, chopping them up with an axe and stuff.
The graphics seem pretty good though. Like
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like poly. We're not talking like PS1 downgrade poly.
No,
stuff.
it just looks like it looks like it plays like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah,
I don't know. This game looks pretty dope. I would totally play this game.
Looks cool. It's like you versus really horrifying monsters. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to bring us to the end of the show. Sorry to Andy that your internet broke. It happens. We have to all figure it out. Like, I know what my problem is. It is a known issue with the router that comes with my ISP.
Mhm.
So I'm either going to buy a third-party router, or I am going to downgrade to the old router. Because the reason why they gave you this router is because it goes up to 2 gig. You can get up to 2 gig band, and I only have 1 gig anyway. So I don't know. We'll see. So sorry for the technical issues, folks. Thank you for hanging out with us. Regardless, that is going to bring us to the end of the show. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, Andy. And as always, please be excellent to each other.
Yeah.